Okay, hello everyone. This is just going to be a quick intro to the next few videos in terms of setting this guy up with the skeleton and the skinning and the IKFK and everything else. I'm going to be going through using this guy here, which is a little ant-like creature, but everything I do here should basically work with the other two creatures as well. So hopefully what we'll end up with is a skinned character that we're going to import into Unreal Engine. What we need is this mesh here and the actual rig that we're going to export. So as you can see here, the rig is quite simple. Doesn't have anywhere near as many spine bones as what a real creature would have. We've got feet, two legs, some kind of shoulder or pelvis kind of thing here, and the spine down to the main root area, and the tail obviously in the rear legs. The jaw, and moving up here to the neck, and on top of that we've got the head with the two eyeballs. So all we'll end up exporting is this. So this will be the first process of getting the actual bones laid out that we're going to export and skinned to the mesh. After that we'll look at adding some IK handles to the character. If we add some IK handles to him, then we can move the character around and keep the feet still, and it just makes animation a bit easier on legs kind of thing. After that, we look at adding IK and FK handles to give you much better control over being able to blend in and out of the character depending on whether his feet are on or off the ground. And finally, we look at adding some expressions to control these with sliders and all the various control handles that we have, so we can hide the skeleton completely. So here's obviously the guy with just the skeleton and the mesh. If I turn the control handles on, we then get a lot more visual representation of what's going on, but it means that we can now actually hide the skeleton and just look at the controllers. I've added an extra FK control layer just to kind of hide the legs. I didn't use them very often, so I just kind of added them to a layer so I could hide them. If I turn everything on, you can see here that I've got a bunch of IK bones and FK bones. So here's what I've used to control the IK and FK switching. So essentially what it is three rigs. So we've got the main rig, which is the export skeleton, and we've got the IK controller and the FK controller, and very easy to set up, a little bit more difficult to get working because you've got to start looking at expressions and sliders, but once you've got one leg working, the rest of them should follow suit quite simply. And as you can see, hopefully, if we hide everything that we don't need, we can grab a hold of a foot, and we're currently in IK mode. If we move the foot around, you can see that we can actually move the foot quite nicely. We've got the IK-FK switcher, so if we go from IK to FK, we can then start animating the legs with these FK handles instead. That's when the foot isn't on the ground, but like I said, if you stick with IK throughout all of your animations, these shouldn't be, you shouldn't kind of need to use these as much as you would have to with other things. So if we just switch back to the IK again, we've got a couple of extra controllers here which control the position of the knee. If you want different kind of angles put in there, again, that's really quite easy to set up. And assuming that everything is all set up correctly, we eventually end up with a character who we can move around and his feet will stay still. But if we switched all the feet to FK, his feet would basically go with him. And there's an overriding root skeleton here which moves everything, but you should never need to use that. If we turn the grid on, realistically that should always stay at 0, 0, 0. So that's the end of that. We'll get on with basically getting the character from scratch in his default bind pose, and we'll start adding the bones to it from there. Alright, thank you.